Yeah.
Welcome back to the Gridiron Expert, taking a look at the home run hire that Central Florida just landed. Central Florida just landed what was arguably maybe the best hire of this entire offseason. We're going to give you our official grade in a second, but this was huge. Guys, if you've been following college football, you know that Central Florida was in a bit of a disarray over the last month or so. Their athletic director, Danny White, jumps ship, goes to Tennessee amid all the problems that Tennessee's having right now. Danny White then brings in Josh Heupel, brings him in from Central Florida. He's the new head man at Tennessee. So two very powerful and very important figures in positions at Central Florida needed to be filled, and they needed to be filled in a hurry. This happened in, around January, guys, when what many thought most of the better head coaches and ADs were taken off the market. But the Knights kept their composure. The administration in place kept their composure, and now they are in a very, very good position heading in to 2021. Let's break down the facts here, guys. Danny White jumps ship. Central Florida comes over to Arkansas State. They steal Terry Mahajer, the athletic director at Arkansas State, who I would say for the most part has done a decent job with the Red Wolves. New head man down in Central Florida. Just a few days on the job, and Mahajer lands Gus Malzahn as the brand new head coach of Central Florida. The brand new head coach of UCF. Just a few days on the job, and he lands this hire, the former head man at Auburn. And there's an interesting connection there. Just like Danny White and Josh Heupel with their connection at Tennessee, Gus Malzahn, if you remember, was the head coach at Arkansas State in 2012. Terry Mahajer hired him in 2012. So they had a little bit of a relationship there. Gus Malzahn on the market, a brilliant offensive mind, which is exactly what Central Florida wants and exactly what Central Florida needs. One of the best guys on the market, 8 years of SEC head coaching experience. Mahajer called him up. Malzahn didn't know he wanted to get back into coaching, but when he got that offer, he jumped on it. So we're going to break down this hire for you guys. It was a wild whirlwind of events happening down in Orlando. Again, they were in a bit of a disarray. Now they've been stabilized, and the future is looking very, very bright. So you look at Gus Malzahn, guys. He was 68-35 in 8 years at Auburn. And remember, it's funny, we just touched on Auburn about last week. The firing of Gus Malzahn, the hiring of Brian Harsin. 68-35 in 8 years at Auburn. They got rid of him. He wasn't living up to their expectations. Signed a huge contract extension at the end of 2017. His buyout was over $21 million. But what Gus Malzahn brings to the table is something that not many head coaches can bring to the table. He brings very, very solid SEC experience, both as an offensive coordinator, started as offensive coordinator at Arkansas back in 2006, also served as the offensive coordinator at Auburn when they won the national championship with Gene Chizik and Cam Newton. And then, of course, he has SEC head coaching experience, 8 years with the Tigers, went to a national championship in his first year there, also has defeated Nick Saban 3 times. Again, like we mentioned in our live stream the other night, I don't know many, if any, coaches that can do that. I know Dabo Swinney at Clemson's done a pretty dang good job, but find me a guy that in 8 years can defeat Nick Saban almost half the time, 3 times in 8 years. You're not going to find many, if any, again. So he brings all of that to the table on top of an up-tempo, spread-style offense, which is exactly what Central Florida has been running, and that's exactly what they wanted to continue to run with the talent they had in place. So Malzahn brings that there. Scott Frost had it in place. Josh Heupel continued it. Always one of the best passing attacks in the nation. And now Gus Malzahn shows up. We know he's going to want to air it out. The key to Gus Malzahn's offenses at Auburn were always the quarterback. Who was going to be the quarterback? And I would say that during his time there, the best quarterback that he had was probably Nick Marshall. Nick Marshall, a bit of a dual-threat QB who helped lead Auburn to that national championship where they fell to Florida State. But Bo Nix wasn't the guy. White wasn't the guy. Jeremy Johnson wasn't the guy. But now he's paired with Dylan Gabriel, who statistically was one of the better quarterbacks in the country last year. And I think he and Malzahn are a match made in heaven. Malzahn has got his quarterback. He's got a guy that can run his style of offense efficiently, has experience running that style of offense. There's not going to be many changes when it comes to schemes in Orlando over this offseason. Usually with a brand new head coaching hire, you deal with that. You're not going to see that now in 2021. So all of that being said, Gus Malzahn inherits, I think, a very good situation here. How good can it be? That's the million-dollar question. Listen to these trends for a second, guys. If you're Central Florida, I'm getting excited. I'm getting excited because you just landed a huge big-name hire in February, all right? You landed him in February, again, when many of the big names are already off the market. That's impressive in and of itself. But look at the first-year success from Gus Malzahn over the years. You look at 2012. Let's start head coaching-wise. 2012, in his first year as head coach at Arkansas State, his only year as head coach at Arkansas State, he led the Red Wolves to a 9-3 record, won the Sun Belt in a 45-0 shutout over Middle Tennessee State, and then jumped ship to become the head coach at Auburn. But won the conference 9-3. In 2013, his first year as head coach at Auburn, he went 12-2, won the SEC, beat Alabama in that infamous kick six game, fell in the final seconds to Florida State in the national championship. Florida State led by Jameis Winston. You take it outside of the head coaching realm. You go to offensive coordinator. Look at his job as the offensive coordinator at Tulsa. In 2007, the Golden Hurricane were number 1 in the nation when it came to total yards per game. They were number 3 in the nation when it came to passing yards per game. They were the first team in NCAA history to have a 5,000-yard passer, a 1,000-yard rusher, and 3 1,000-yard receivers. All of that happened at Tulsa in Malzahn's first year with the program. And then in 2009, his first year as offensive coordinator at Auburn. Remember, they won the national championship in 2010. But in 2009, his first year there, Auburn was number 16 in the nation in total offense, and they were 17th in the nation when it came to their scoring offense. They were 110th in the nation in scoring in 2008. They went from 110th to 17th in 1 year, all thanks to Gus Malzahn. He is an offensive mastermind. And in year one, in each of his stops, offensive coordinator at Tulsa, coordinator at Auburn, head coach at A-State, head coach at Auburn, each of those first years, those teams saw exponential rises in productivity, in their stats, their efficiency, particularly on offense, but also their records and how well they did across the board. Go back one more year, coordinator at Arkansas, 2006, the year Arkansas made the SEC championship before falling to Florida. They beat Florida in the SEC title game. They go to the national championship. So I guess you could say 3 years that every year that Malzahn has taken over, a team sees a major improvement. Central Florida, I'm getting excited if I'm you. I really am. I'm getting very, very excited. Not just about what year one could hold, but what the future could hold. Because many people complain about Malzahn at Auburn. He was so inconsistent. Every now and then you'd have a good year, but he'd lose games that he shouldn't. He'd win games that he shouldn't, which people would get excited about. But then your expectations and your excitement would get high. Then he'd come crashing back down to earth. I don't think that's going to happen at Central Florida. Looking at their schedule, they opened the season against Boise State. Also dealing with a brand new head coach. We'll have more on the Broncos later this week. They travel to Louisville. They travel to Cincinnati. They host Memphis. The schedule's not easy, but there's a lot of opportunities on this schedule. A lot of opportunities on the schedule for UCF to do some damage. A lot of opportunities on the schedule for UCF to do some damage, to surprise some people. And if they pull off a handful of upsets, yes, they can contend. And I think they will contend for an American Athletic Conference title. They can contend for a New Year's Six bowl game. And like we've said with Cincinnati, if they somehow run the table and go undefeated, they could make their small case for the college football playoff. The resume wouldn't be as strong as the Bearcats if they were to go undefeated. And I don't think the committee would ever give a group of 5 team a fair chance anyways. But the expectations at Central Florida are win the conference, make it to a New Year's Six bowl game. Those are their expectations. Josh Heupel has fallen short of that the last 2 years. This last year, very, very disappointing. It was probably good that he was getting out of town, even though it was only his 3rd year there. 6-4 with the talent that he had, the discipline issues that he had, it just didn't look like it was going to work out. Gus Malzahn's going to come in. He's going to run the same similar scheme that Heupel had, that Frost had, but he's going to change the culture. He's going to whip those guys into shape. He's going to whip the team into shape. He's going to whip the culture into shape. He's going to instill his culture. He's going to have a great team. He's going to have a great team that respects one another and respects their opponents. The discipline, I do not think, will be an issue. And I think Gus Malzahn is going to surprise a lot of people over these next few years. Maybe he stays a while. Maybe he doesn't. Maybe he's using this for leverage to get back into the Power 5. Who knows? But for the time being, this is a fantastic hire. And as I'm sure you all know, we're giving it an A+. An A+ hire for Terry Mohajir. Just a few days on the job, landing Gus Malzahn, who he hired nearly 10 years ago back in Jonesboro, back at A-State. And again, with this hire, UCF remains and will continue to be an American Athletic Conference and a New Year's Six title contender. No doubt about it. They are contenders in the conference, just like Cincinnati, just like Memphis, just like all the up-and-comers. They are absolutely still contenders for a New Year's Six bowl game. And that's not going to change as long as Gus Malzahn is the man down in Orlando. I'm thrilled with this hire. I know Central Florida fans, you should be excited about this hire too. If you're not, let us know why, because I think you're crazy if you're not. This could go a long, long way for Knights fans. It's going to bring the stability and the success that you all want and that you all deserve. So guys, thank you so much for watching us here at The Gridiron Expert on YouTube. Make sure to continue to like, comment, subscribe, share our videos. Also, make sure to check out everything down in the description below. So much exclusive college football content for you guys to help you get through this long and grueling offseason. I know we're going to have videos out here every day, but everything in the description is going to help you as well. So make sure to give that a look. And once again, guys, as always, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time right here on The Gridiron Expert.